As you may know, there are several attempts out there to make wrappers for Docker that are easy to use for relatively unskilled users. Your typical home user. There's Cosmos, there's Zima OS and Casa OS, and there are others. Today we're taking a look at one called Umbral. They just released version 1.5, and there are some nifty features that they have included this time. Stay tuned till the end for my breakdown and what I think of this product. Alright, I've got this installed in a virtual machine, so we're going to take a look at the initial boot process. I have not been into the web interface, but we will take a look at this and see what this shows us first. It is based on Debian 13 Trixie, and it boots to just a login screen. Alright, I found the default login. The default login is Umbral for both the username and the password. And when you get into this, it tells you a little bit about the system and then gives you a warning that the terminal access is only enabled for debugging purposes. So we are just going to find out the IP address, and we are on 74.212. So let's switch over to the web browser. Welcome to UmbrelOS. Your home cloud server is ready to set up. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, create an account. Next, agrees to their terms of service and install your first app. So, before we do that, we've got home down here. We've got the App Store. We've got a file manager. Nice. We've got live usage and widgets. So we come back here, we can go and explore the App Store, and for instance, Uptime Kuma. Great monitoring application. This is the latest version, version 2.0.2. Click install, and it should only take a moment or two, and it should be ready to go. Alright, so it has added an icon to the desktop, I suppose you could call it. And if we just click on that, it will magically take us to the Uptime Kuma initial screen, and you can decide which database you'd like to use. Given this is for demo purposes and it's a very small network, we're going to use SQLite. And again, it says recommended for small scale deployments. And prior to version 2, this was the default database. Say next. It's going to set things up, and we can create an account. And we've got an account here, but we've got nothing to monitor. So why not go through this? And we're going to do ping. We'll say PVE 01 and 227, and we'll save that. And just like that, we've got basic monitoring set up for our Proxmox machine in Uptime Kuma. Now, there are plenty of other things you can do with this, but we're going to keep things basic for the moment. Let's go back to Umbral, and we'll look at the App Store again. And there are all kinds of things in here. Tailscale, for instance. Jellyfin, Nextcloud. And they do a nice job of breaking this down by category so that you can drill down and don't have to weed through everything they offer. They do have a crypto component if you want to mess around with Bitcoin and different things of that nature. That is completely up to you. That's not something I'm going to be covering. You've got some finance options for different financial manager type things. Media, of course, networking. You've got your AdGuard Home. You've got Pi-hole. You've got MySpeed, which is a speed tester. You've got all kinds of things, even including the Tor browser and WireGuard. Social, home, and automation. And you couldn't have this without Home Assistant and Node-RED and some of the others. And you've even got an AI component. So you can run your own completely private AI. Of course, the more powerful machine you've got for this, the better you're going to be. But it does make this simple. And there are times when simple is good. So what else does this have this time around? Well, let's come into settings. This is something that they have made a good case for. You do have 2FA available here, which is great. And this is the component here that I was looking for. You've got backups. So this will let you back up to another Umbral or a NAS, to an external drive, or to Umbral private cloud. We're going to choose another Umbral or NAS. We're going to add, and it even detects the various NAS boxes I have on my network. We're going to pick on Lord Nikon this time around. Say continue, and should get me logged in. Select a share to add. We're going to say public for this one. Add share. Okay, choose a folder within lordnikon.local to save your backup. So we're going to browse. We're going to go to public. And we are going to do a new folder. We're say Umbral. We're going to select folder. We can say continue. Excluded files and folders. Well, we're going to leave that alone right now. And we're going to just accept the defaults and continue. Set encryption password. And just like that, review and confirm. Finish setup. And it's actually going through the backup process already. And we can view that. It gives you the path, the status, and the amount used and available storage. So we could trigger a second backup. And just like that. Now it's listing total backups as 2, and we're good to go. So that's pretty cool to see that they've got something like that built in. I'm interested to see if backups can be scheduled, but that will be an update for another day. Let's just go ahead and check for updates, make sure we're still on the current version. We've got advanced settings. We can open the terminal, UmbrelOS beta program, Cloudflare DNS, remote Tor access, or we could do a factory reset. Again, keep in mind that some of these are aimed more at those Umbrel Home devices that they sell, and not necessarily what you would want to use in a virtual machine. So they do have several languages you can choose from, which is great. There's a migration assistant. You can set up Wi-Fi if available, and they've got a few wallpapers in here to choose from. And that gets us through the basics of Umbral 1.5. All right, so what do you think of Umbral? This has been a very basic walkthrough. I will be covering in another video the setup process in a VM because I ran into a couple of snags when I ran through this, but it's nothing that can't be overcome with a little bit of time and critical thinking, right? What do I think of it? Well, I think this has some promise for the right use case. There are people out there that could benefit from this, and that to me is obvious by the fact that they're selling their own appliance type device, right? Am I likely to use this myself on a long-term basis? Well, that depends. I could come up with a few scenarios where this could be very useful. However, on my main network, I will probably not use this, and I will probably still use Casa OS at this point in time, and perhaps continue using my dedicated Docker host that I've got set up as a VM. There are pros and cons to each approach, and I can't decide for you what the best approach will be. So give it a spin in a VM, read through their documentation, and make your own determination whether this is the right fit for you. And that'll wrap things up for today. Showing on your screen, you're going to see a couple of videos that YouTube thinks you will like, and I agree with them. So take a look, and I'll see you next time.